Welcome to Wither Team, a Black magical podcast for Black magical stories.
Hi, everyone. It's Bayana and Robyn embarking on a journey through the many fantasy stories written by and about Black people. Today, we are wrapping up our discussion of Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. Porshèa isn't here today, unfortunately, but she will be back next episode.
This episode, we don't have a book to recap, so we're just going to play some games, discuss Legendborn as a whole, and then in the denouement? Do you remember that from storytelling class? No, is that just a film? Is that a film school thing?
Nope. Probably, and not that it wasn't.
It's
I mean,
storytelling.
It could be a
writing
thing. Yeah, sure. I'm not saying it's not.
Okay. First game. So we like to play, like, what do we call it? Cuddle, marry, exterminate.
But it's basically it's a nerdy version of
fuck, marry, kill. It's the nerdy version of that. And so we were thinking about doing that, but then I was like, what about Squire Page Banish? And this game is basically, we're going to give you 3 names. We have 3 names. I also want to note, Bayana came up with the names and the grouping of the names because she is evil.
I will say that I don't remember. I feel like I was vibing. I mean, not vibing, but like
I didn't really remember think you distinctly being like, "Oh, but it's got to be difficult."
Well, yeah, no, I think it has to be difficult. But what I'm saying is, I didn't think about what that would mean for me.
You were thinking about how you were going to torture me.
I was just thinking about the game. I was like, it has to be difficult because you have to actually like grapple with like what you're trying to decide. But I didn't think about like I have to grapple with what I'm gonna decide.
The consequences of your actions, basically, is what's happening.
That's what I meant.
So the point of Squire Page Banish is one of these people is going to be your squire, like your ride or die. You are a scion. This is the person that's got your back in battle. This is like you're bonding yourself. You're oathing to each other. You're gonna feel their emotions. Like you gonna be. It's a podcast, but y'all gonna be tight. Page is you can be in the order. We can coexist. You know what I mean? Like I don't gotta love all my coworkers, but we gotta respect each other. We gotta,
But like that's your you still vouch for them though. Like you're
not gonna leave them hanging out to dry, right?
Like,
if a demon comes, you fighting by their side. But you just don't have to be that tight. Like you don't gotta know their emotions. Right. There's the oath of like we in this together, but we ain't in this like there's some distance. There's a little bit of distance. And then banish is like you gotta go. You just can't. Yeah. I can't rock with you.
Yeah.
Period. Pulling out the ether weapons on you. And in that vein, in that like
these are going to be difficult in different ways. So some of them are going to be hard because you're not going to want to banish someone, and
yeah, because you just want to be like they all
opposite reason. So
every single one of them can be gone. I'm gonna challenge us to not do that, not cheat. I know sometimes they'll be like, I can't. You have to.
Yeah.
We have to.
Yeah. We have to try. Yes. And you have to come up with a reason for it. Like you don't have to like it, but just we have to talk through like what's our and also I will say I think this should be based on the events of Legendborn.
Okay.
Like not bringing in the other stuff that comes after.
Wow.
I think that will make it a little easier.
Honestly. I was like, yes, but then I
think we could do it again after Blood Marked
grouping. And I'm like, wow.
Oh yeah.
Because Bloodmark,
But I think that
yeah.
if we get to like when we get to Bloodmark, I think the answers would
Mhm.
probably shift or change, or
Not
we
that some of
probably
these
add more
people aren't
people
going to
too.
make it to
But
Bloodmark.
so yeah.
I hate that for them.
I didn't mean to laugh. I mean, I guess I did for some of them. I meant to laugh for some of them.
Okay. Since you did this to us, you go first.
Hmm.
Squire, Page, or Banish, Nick, Sel, William.
Okay, well, William
Wow.
Squire.
I think we're going to
Done.
banish the same person.
That
This
part is
crazy.
easy.
I think so. Okay. I don't know. Okay.
I don't know. Okay, so it actually gets harder from there. Like William, I'm like, yes, ride or die. He's great. Like he's a gentle spirit, but he also will like check you
You
if
can be
need
bonded to
be.
him.
You know, it just feels like somebody I wouldn't. Yeah, I could be bonded to William. Like, sure, fine. Nick and Sal, it's hard. Unfortunately, and I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this. But again, this is based off of the events of Legendborn. This ain't got nothing to do with nothing else. And I do think my answer will probably change for other when you bring in later things. But I think Sel's gotta go. He tried to kill Bree.
I really thought we were banishing the same person. Okay.
But like I just feel like I just feel like I could page Nick, like fine. You know? Like he could fight. I mean, not that
I was about to say.
Damn, that's hard.
Mm.
Hold up. Give me a sec.
Do you want me to go? Because I already got it. I'm firm in my beliefs.
No, I already know what you got. Okay, you know what? Sel's a better fighter. Sel can page.
There you go.
It's fine. It's fine. First I was thinking like Sel was wildin'. So he needed a deception disgrace moment. I think that's in my head. Banished. I was thinking about Lion King 2 and then like collectively banishing Kovu. I felt like Sel needed just briefly, not completely, you know, but just briefly. But
we're fighting demons.
If we're fighting in Camland, I feel like I want Sel before
you were about to choose a guy who got kidnapped twice in a week.
You're right.
So
you're right. You're right.
You did.
That was my bad,
did.
But I
was
corrected
touch and go there for a second. Thought you were smarter than this.
That's why we're talking it out. That's why we're having.
You just have to work it out loud. You got there though. You got there in the end.
I just had to work it. I just had to, yeah. Because like I said, I made these groups, but I didn't actually think about them. I just said it. All right. What about you?
I got a Squire Sel. And I understand that he is volatile.
I knew it, and it's so funny.
Those volatile emotions are going to be tied to me.
Yeah,
but I also feel like, what is life without a little bit of
lot.
risk, a little bit of excitement? You know what I mean? Like, it's just going to be like every day something new. I'm ready for the adventure. Am I? I'm not really. I'm going to be so tired. I'm going to be so tired.
I don't think you are, but for sure. That's what I'm
turning into an
owl. A lot of
them. He
can turn into an owl.
What is the word I'm trying to say? Like dogged in like going after his enemies. Like he was going to kill Bree. And he felt that and he was committed to the cause. He was wrong. He was completely wrong. But he was committed. And Bree was a pay, like, you know what I mean? So like if we are bonded, he not gonna kill me. And that's like the insurance. You know what I mean?
True.
It's a little bit of insurance. Like,
yeah,
it's a lot of emotions, but at least I know I'm safe from him. Yikes. Ooh, okay. Bree, you in trouble. I'm good. I don't know if you're good, but I'm good. Just being in the same.
My bad, but
org as Sel does not guarantee safety, but being oath bound, I think is a little bit better. I'm going to page with William for all of the reasons that you said, and like part of me would really love to Squire with William because I wouldn't have all the emotions. He's not volatile. He's very, he knows what's going on. He's efficient. He's smart. He's everything that you want in a partner. I just need that extra insurance with Sel because he can fight, but I need to know for a fact he's not going to fight me. And then Nick gotta go. I'm sorry, but
he's banished. You know, I just thought about it. He'd probably be okay with that. He
right? He
self-banished
don't want to
himself
be here
before.
anyway.
He doesn't want to be here
Because he's
anyway.
not ready.
You're right. You don't want
He does
someone on your
not.
team
He is
who's not
like
all the
constant
way.
vigilance and Nick do not go together.
Yeah,
because he was like,
very
this
true.
place is trash. These people are trash, and yet still caught slipping twice in a matter of days. I said a week, but it wasn't even a week. It was like
it was like a day.
Yeah,
it was like 2
48
days.
hours.
Twice in 2 days. To be fair, it was his dad.
But after the first one, you know your dad ain't shit.
Yeah, except no, but didn't he got took by the Merlin?
You got to keep that thing
so
on you.
That's not much.
I don't
you
know.
Can do about that. The second time, I'm saying.
I know.
You do. You have to.
But,
I mean, I don't know. They thought dude ran away. They thought they were safe.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it is what it is.
Next one.
Fitz, Witty,
oh damn,
and
this was
Russ.
a rough one. Why did I do that?
You did this.
That was crazy. That's crazy of me.
You did this. This is all also
that was actually out of pocket.
This entire lineup. That's wild.
That's what I just realized. I don't know why I did that. That was out of pocket.
Wild, Bayana.
Damn.
Is that why you grouped them together like this? Because they don't make it?
I'm telling you right now, I don't remember.
She said you can't take blood mark into account, so I'm gonna give you these 3 because
that's crazy though. No, now I'm like, damn. You know, I'm gonna be real. Past Bayana,
it's wild.
Really does some shit that then current Bayana has to reckon with, and it happens all the time. And you know, this is just one of those moments. It's happening, well, sort of live. Y'all aren't listening to it live, but it's happening live. That's a wild grouping. Yeah. Sorry.
It is. I wish I could make you feel better, but I can't because you did this.
No. That was kind of out of pocket. Anyway, I'm gonna Squire with Russ because he feels very like he has the right energy. Russy. You know, the like he's ready to protect his scion. He's all in. So okay, yeah. So I'm gonna page Witty. I feel like he was a decent page. He's a cool dude. He's real chill. And then Fitz can go. I'm very sorry about what happened to him though.
I mean, he did bring Vaughn into the mix.
But he was very salty. And I just feel like I don't really need that on my team.
Yeah.
You know?
I think I'm gonna go the other. Witty was William's scion, right? Squire.
Squire, yeah.
Get those things right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to Squire Witty. Okay. I just think that he was kind of like he was on Bree's team from jump. He just has like the good. He gives good vibes. Not that Russ doesn't, but it just feels a little bit more like I want to be more equals with the person I'm squired with. Even though I know I just squired with Sel, and that is not the same thing, but I just would. I squired with Sel for insurance purposes alone. It was a matter of making sure he can't kill me, while also fighting with me. I don't want him against me. You know what I mean? But with Witty, I feel like it's more like we can chill. There's not going to be a lot of like bowing and all of that, nonsense. Like the way that Vaughn was like just all up on Nick. I don't want that. I don't want you to be doing the most with me. I just want it to be like, we out here, we in this together. And I feel like I can do that with Witty. I'm going to page Russ. Just because. Mostly I'm paging Russ because Fitz has to be banished.
Yeah,
And I
that's
feel
fair.
bad about that a little bit.
I
'Cause,
do a
like,
little bit
in the
too,
scheme
but
of things, he's not
he
that
like I said,
bad.
he was salty, but he didn't have
Yeah.
a it's not like he didn't have a reason, and he wasn't that bad.
And especially, like, given some of the other Legendborn, he's he's middling, you know what I mean? He's not the worst.
Yeah.
He's not the best. He's just, you know? But in a
Mhm.
organization like the Order, being middling still means that you're, like, worse than most, you know what I mean? So,
Right.
that's my reasoning.
Yeah.
This one is wild.
Um This one's out of pocket, but I feel less like I'm not gonna apologize for
No,
this
it
one.
makes sense. It does,
Yeah, I'm not
but it's wild.
it's a hard one. Uh, so this is Tor, Vaughn, and fake Evan.
Roz.
Yeah.
Is it Roz when he reveals himself, or it's Roz as he's cosplaying Evan?
It's all of
It's a
it.
whole it's
It's
a
all of
whole
it.
okay,
It's the whole
okay,
shebang.
okay.
He's gotta go because I can't trust him. Not that I can trust the other two, but, like, I can't trust him not to kill me in this,
Mhm.
you know? Because he, like, is clearly undercover. Not clearly, but because he
Mhm.
is undercover, I feel like he's probably gotta go. But shit.
Now what you gonna
God
do with the
damn.
2 that's left?
Hmm. Maybe I adjust. Well, no. No, I don't. Because he got Fitz killed, even though that was like he couldn't directly kill Fitz, but he still killed him, you
Yeah,
know? And like I don't want my squire to directly or indirectly kill me. So
yeah.
but I don't want to bond myself to Tor or Vaughn, even a little bit. That feels like the hmm.
I love that you're having to, like, talk like, reason this out loud, you know? You have to, like, really, like,
Yeah, because
grapple
I'm
with
just
what you did.
it's a difficult yeah, but I don't know. Do you have any
I
ideas yet?
do. I do. You're gonna think I'm weird. I'm gonna s
I mean, either none of it there are no
This
right
is true.
answers.
This is true.
So, there are only wrong answers.
I'm gonna
So it's fine.
squire Vaughn. Actually, no, no, no.
Mhm.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna squire Evan, Roz, because I can't trust him, but he can't
Okay.
hurt me directly. But I feel like I don't know if, like, in this
Mhm.
universe, I know that I can't trust him because I know the totality of who he is,
Right.
so I can, like,
Right.
plan around him.
Right. You wouldn't know.
I don't
Yeah, I
know.
don't know. It's your world.
I don't know, but I feel like that's where I'm going. I'm gonna squire Evan because also, even as a demon, he was pretty entertaining. Like he seemed like pretty cool until you
That's
knew
true.
what was going on. So
Yeah.
like even his undercover self wasn't that bad, you know?
That's real.
I'm gonna page
Mhm.
Vaughn and
Mhm.
banish Tor. Because I feel
Mhm.
like Vaughn at least at the very least, like there's the bar is in hell. But
Yeah.
he was waiting around for Dud Davis. He was more than happy to like play the politics game to like, get where he wanted to get, even though he obviously didn't deserve it. And Nick obviously didn't want him to be where he like to be his
Mhm.
squire. But he was like, I'm gonna do what I gotta
Squire.
do. But then he like saw that some shit was going down and he was like, let me step up where I am
Mhm.
right now.
That's true.
You know what I mean? And he like
That's
just was
true.
like, all right,
Mhm.
this is where we're at. So let me do what I gotta do. Tor was like, oh, you're Arthur? I don't care. The racism, uh, you know, wins. Like, I just need you to at least, like, swallow it and go to work.
Yeah. Yeah, like, the job has to come
The
before
petty.
your
Yeah.
bigotry. Yeah.
I think that's, yeah.
Brit's in the chat.
Brit.
Um,
I
I
also love that Brit banned Nick.
Yep. But who would you squire and who would you,
Paige.
page? I have to go now I have to do my Tor Von Evan. I feel like I like your reasoning, like, I feel
When
like
you know what it was? Because I was literally
I
gonna
can't think
banish
of
Well, I was gonna page Evan, but you were like, "He got Fitz killed, but he couldn't kill Fitz. He couldn't hurt," like, when you
right,
said
because like,
that
if you page, he could definitely directly kill you. I mean, maybe they still have, like, they have that one oath, but it's not necessary. I don't know how
Mhm.
strong it is. And yeah, so like it's not as strong, whereas like the squire's oath is definitely, or the warrior's oath, whatever they call it, is definitely a lot stronger. So I feel like, yeah, he can be my he can be my squire, and I'm gonna just sleep with both
Yep.
eyes open,
Warn
I
everybody
guess.
around me.
It's not like there aren't, yeah, it's like it's not like there aren't, like the demon attacks are happening regardless. So it's gonna be like, like either way, it's gonna be dangerous. Um and then yeah, I can't get with Tor. I just can't do it. So she's gotta go. Vaughn, yeah, he could page. Cause like whatever,
I
he's never gonna
couldn't
squire for
sign
me.
up
So
to spend more time in Tor's
he's the
presence, you
worst,
know?
but like, yeah, that's the thing. Like Vaughn, you can be my page. I don't really have to mess with you that much. But like,
So the squire is the
um
one that you're oath to, and you can feel each other's, like, emotions and, like, you share
they will
power.
have whatever, when you're awakened, you'll have the same powers. And then the page is just like they're pledged to you, and they're like foot
Yeah.
soldiers, I guess. But usually you choose a squire from your pages. Um all right. Let's go to the next one.
This one is rude.
Uh
Alice,
is
Mariah, and
it?
Gray. Well, it wasn't rude until you were like, you can only take Legendborn into account. And then it got difficult. I think I ended up in the same
Oh,
spot,
okay.
though I think I might have switched some things around
Yeah.
a little bit.
Mhm.
If I could take into account everything that I know, my squire, my page might be different, but I think I ended up
Mhm.
essentially in the same place. I think um where I squire Mariah, you know,
Mhm.
Daddy Matthew said you got to have community. And I feel like it's like better to be, like I'm putting myself in Bree's shoes, So I gotta, the medic guy is crazy. Sorry, in the chat, Britt insists on calling William the medic guy as if William is just, forgettable. Yeah, so I'm gonna squire Mariah. I think that like
Mhm.
having her close to me and we are both, root crafters. We're gonna squire Mariah, we're gonna page Alice, and then Greer can go. I feel like if I could pull in what I know
Mhm.
from Bloodmark, my squire
Blood market
page
would
might
shift a
shift a
little.
little bit, but maybe it wouldn't. I don't
Yeah.
know. I have to
Maybe,
reread
yeah.
Bloodmarked.
I don't know. Um Backing up real quick, Britt says that she'll squire William and Paige Sell and ask if that's silly, but that's what I did.
Yep.
So, we're on the same page.
And I did the opposite, but yeah,
um
it's not silly at all.
yeah, she squired Sell, so like,
For insurance purposes.
which is sillier.
Like we were just talking about with
Okay,
Evan
Alice
Roz, like if
Mariah.
you squired, they can't kill you directly.
Yeah. Um okay, Alice Mariah and Greer. Mariah's hard just because like we don't see a lot of her in
Mm-hmm.
this one. What we do
We
see of her
don't.
is good. Um I feel like Alice definitely started off very rocky, but she came around by the end. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like it was only like a couple chapters. It's not like she was in that for a long time. I have this theory I was realizing as I was because I'm rereading Bloodmarked right now, and semi spoiler, but like there's a lot of like talk about like who is going to like Bree has to have a squire, right? Or like she also has to have a king's mage, and like who are those people going to be? And like she's like, what is that going to look like? And I kind of now I'm like, I wonder if Alice is going to end up being her squire.
Oh.
Um, like,
Yeah.
you know, it feels like right now, at least, it feels like the the only option. um, but anyway, I said all that to say, I think I actually would make Alice my squire. I feel like again, the blip aside, I think she is a good friend, and I feel like she's already a ride or die without magic. So, imagine if she had that.
Mhm.
Um and then I would page Mariah, but it's mostly just because we don't see like a whole lot of her in Legendborn, which even though like I really like her, so I feel like cool. And then Greer can go, even though I mess with them. It's not like
Yeah,
a
it's just
uh
you
it's
come up lacking against the competition.
they right. And also, they have some
Mhm.
things to learn, but they're good.
Yeah.
They're cool.
We talked a little about Greer
Um,
and Witty to an extent. Um,
mhm. Like the hair
yeah, just kind of
debacle,
doing the, like
the whole and
yeah.
that's all of them though. Like even the ones that are like, they all have their moments of you're like, okay, that was very
Yes,
white of you.
exactly.
I need you to interrogate that.
Going up to Brie after the fact and being like, "That was crazy," but, like, why don't you say that in real time?
In the moment, like
You know
actually
what I mean?
yeah.
That would've been helpful, but
Yeah.
thank you for acknowledging now when it doesn't cost you anything and doesn't help me.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I was wondering this is wild and it wouldn't happen. So I don't know what this is because it's not a headcanon and it's not a theory for Oathbound, but it's like a what if,
Mhm.
I guess, like the Marvels what if.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
if she got like a bloodcrafter to be her king's mage instead of a Merlin, like could
Hmm.
Mariah, you know what I mean?
Well,
A
Mariah's not
root
a blood. You
crafter,
mean a root
sorry.
crafter?
Not a blood crafter, a root crafter.
I think it would have to be a Cambion, so what's not gonna be
Oh,
valid because Valak does not fuck with
is
that,
it
but I was
valid?
like
It's not gonna
it's not
be,
gonna be
but like it could like
Valak
but
does
you
not
know
try
what I
to do
mean? Like
that,
take the
but
order down from the inside type of
imagine.
thing.
She might the thing is Bree also might
Yeah, I don't think
never,
she will.
like, do it. She might just be like, "I don't
I
need a
don't think
squire, I
Brie
don't
is
need a
taking a
king's
single
mage,"
she
like,
still hasn't taken
fuck that.
an oath.
She does not
Or she
care.
took the
She's
one
like
oath, but it didn't
which,
hold.
you know what? I don't I don't necessarily think that she has I mean, these people are she don't have to
Mm-mm.
follow their rules. Like I don't think that that's a requirement. I think it could help to have a squire. Um, like I understand the reasoning, but I
Yeah.
could see her doing, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing, and that's not Miles Morales. Okay, final one for this game. Another difficult one, but maybe not as hard as we think. So we're doing Dead Davis, Isaac, Sorensen, and then Dean McKinnon.
This one.
I feel So I feel like I'm gonna slightly take a page out of your book. Like I'm gonna squire
Yep.
Isaac.
Yep.
He's creepy as hell, but
Yep.
he's very powerful. And if he's on your side, he's on your side. We already see that. We've seen that. So he can be my squire, but I'm very unsettled about it. Uh this part is a little bit harder just in the sense of Dean McKinnon is just a regular like
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't give anything. He's not great. I don't necessarily need him to be my page. But Lord Davis is
The
the worst.
worst.
So I think the dean can be the page because like whatever, dude. Like Yeah.
Just be over there.
You answer to me.
Mhm.
You answer to me. Whatever. But Davis, he's got to go.
I'm same, and it's like basically the same reasoning too. I'm obviously team reckless, and you will be my squire as insurance, because if I banish you or if you just page, there's no guarantee that you will not kill me. So it's like the devil, I guess.
Right.
And then Dean is just, you bring nothing. Go on, girl, give us nothing.
Brick on Team Reckless.
And then I just, to have to be in the same vicinity as Dead Davis with the speeches too. It's not even the evil. It's not even the evil.
Literally is what I was gonna say. That's exactly what I was about to say. I just don't even want all that. I don't even want to hear all that. I'm over it.
As the great T.S. Eliot once, nah, bye.
You gotta go.
Don't let the door hit you. Because I'm gonna be driving me to drink over here. I don't have time. I don't have time. So
yeah.
That's
Yep. Let us know what y'all's maybe I'll put it in
the show notes, maybe. Oh.
Well, no, but I'm saying I can put it on I'll put it on Instagram and Tumblr. And then y'all can give us
Did we put these in the baddie chat already or no? I know we put questions. We did.
No. You said, did we? Oh, we did. Yeah, we asked for questions, but
Spanish. We should put it in the baddie chat too.
Oh, yes. I see what you're saying.
Become a BNC baddie, by the way. You can join us like Britt's doing live on these recordings. You'll be able to play Squire Page Banish immediately as opposed to waiting until the next Wednesday. You got a little delay. So it's just some of the few reasons to become a baddie. Some of the other reasons are that it's just a nice thing to do and it helps support us. If we bring you joy, bring us joy, And also, I got to get Coco out of my house. I don't know if becoming a BNC baddie is helping with that, but it feels like it would. I don't think it would, but it feels like it.
At New Balance, we believe if you run, you're a runner, however you choose to do it. Because when you're not worried about doing things the right way, you're free to discover your way. And that's what running's all about. Run your way at newbalance.com/running.
Here on Wizard Team, it's no surprise that we love books. We also love supporting the independent bookstores.
With our bookshop affiliate link, you can not only get all the books on your TBR, but you can support indie bookstores and BNC at the same time.
And if you're not sure what you want, that ain't no problem. Check out our The Plot Thickens list full of recommendations from none other than Porshèa herself.
Head to www.bookshop.org/shop/BlackNerdsCreate to treat your shelves.
Treat your shelves.
Oh, that's nice. That's clever.
Oh my goodness.
That's clever. Okay. What's the next game?
The next game is one we like to call Nope or Dope, in which we give you a scenario and you gotta say that's dope or nah, leave me out of it. So I think that I feel like we did this one together a little bit more. I recognize some that came out of me. So I can't fully blame you. the way I could for Squire Page Banish.
Yeah, this was a group effort.
But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Brittany said if it's a Legendborn scenario, it's a nope for me. Honestly, because y'all know I was
That's
out.
very fair.
We haven't actually covered a story on Wizard Team in which I would be a willing participant in that world.
Not wishful thinking?
Oh. Okay, yes. I would be a willing participant. That's the only one. Because I have Within These Wicked Walls in the forefront of my mind, Amari, Legendborn, and then the book the books that I'm reading now for the future, and I'm just like, could be me.
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
okay, so the first one, being assigned Nick as your peer mentor. Honestly, dope. I don't have to go running after hellhounds, right? Like, he seems like he's a pretty attentive, like, peer mentor. He feels like he would help you, like, stay on the right track and get your shit together for school. And you don't have to go running after hellhounds, whether you see them or not. And he can just continue to help you with your academic pursuits. I feel like dope. Let's, Yeah,
I mean, that was my thing is, like, even if I can see the hellhounds, I'm gonna follow in the path of my ancestors, which is like, I don't see shit. My name is Bennett. I ain't it. I am not knocking on the doors of any lodges.
Right.
So I'm not following that cute emo boy in the woods because
I would have already been gone. You wouldn't even had to mesmer me to leave.
I'd have been out.
I'd have been like, there's a fight, I'm out.
You know what, Alice, you were correct. This was reckless. We didn't need to do it. So I would say dope. He cute. You know, he was all being a little like, stalking, you got to eat sometime. Like, we gon' mentor, feel like as a mentor, strictly.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Brittany agrees. I'm like, it doesn't have to come with all the stuff that came after. It can literally just be like,
we said it once and we'll say it again. A lot of the shit that happens in Legendborn, Bree did to herself.
And some of it, granted.
And it had to happen that way.
She's the scion of Arthur. So some of it would have happened regardless. But
so in the
and in some ways it's good that she did do that so that she was prepared when she was called. Or sort of prepared.
In the
she
end,
had context.
But worked out. I don't know if worked out is the right word, but
I don't know. That's certainly it did something.
It wasn't as not even, I was about to say it wasn't as bad as we thought it was going to be, but that's not even. Yeah,
that's not even true. Events occurred, and
it is what it is.
Is there,
but
yes,
for me, it is what it isn't because
I've just got a peer mentor, and I'm gonna use him to help me figure out this college thing. That's it.
Exactly. This is crazy. You wrote this.
Who wrote this one?
I feel like this is Porshèa.
I don't think I came up with this one. I feel like maybe it was Porshèa.
Sure maybe it was Porshèa, but it's how it's written is the problem.
How it's written is probably
the scenario is one thing, but how the scenario is written is out of pocket. Being watched by Selwyn in a tree. First off, you used his full government. Why does he have to be in a tree? I feel like the actual scenario.
Because he's Selwyn.
I feel like the actual scenario is just like
because it's him as an owl in a tree
being watched by Selwyn. You know what I mean? Him.
Porshèa specifically said in a tree. She did because he keeps jumping out of trees. She'll be Bree's just minding her own business, and here comes Sel out of a tree. Flying down like a bat. Like, that's literally been a description at least twice. Like,
yeah,
he's in a tree.
But then here's the issue with that scenario, though. Is it only Like, am I saying nope or dope only when he's in a tree? If he's watching me and he's not in a tree, is that fair game then?
I mean, it depends, but I feel like tree is particularly stalkerish. I feel like there's a different context, but I mean, being watched in general is not great. But I mean, I'm gonna say nope just because I think the in a tree connotates like murderous intent, and so no thanks.
I'm gonna say nope just because being watched, period. No thanks. Being watched in a tree. And we're assuming he's in his owl form, or it could be either way. Either way.
It could be either way, because honestly, part of me is thinking owl form, but then also I'm thinking of him like perched like
that's what I was
Batman.
thinking. That's what I was seeing.
Britt also says nope. Yeah, I just feel like I'm
Yeah.
cool off that. I gotta go be my peer mentor and do my
Yeah,
homework. I'm not trying to.
It feels like too
No
that
thanks.
UNC is one of those campuses that is like, you know, foresty. There's a lot of trees, you know? Like there's like somewhere like the trees are more dense and there's an actual wood, but it doesn't feel like you can like walk through campus without passing a significant number of trees
Right.
at any time. And now I'm also thinking about
Yeah.
him like doing a little bit of a Spider-Man leap situation from tree to tree, like hopping, spider monkey.
Yep.
I just gotta know. It's no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Britt said that selling a tree is all bad vibes. Am I being attacked? Is he the attacker? Is there a shadow monster? And those are all, you're right.
Yeah.
Because
there doesn't seem to be a good.
Either way.
Yeah.
A good thing. No.
We're cool.
Taking the warrior's oath.
No.
No
Absolutely not.
you
thanks. Want me to oath myself to a bunch of white folk who fight demons that they don't need to fight while chasing after other people who can see magic or use magic just because they decided that that's illegal? And then when I do that, and then some of those white people that I've oathed myself to are antagonizing the demons, I then die at like 35.
Well, that, and also if you're taking the warrior's oath, like you're bonding yourself to somebody, and then if they're awakened, then you are not only 35. Also awakened, but then you're 35. Abatement is there, and you're done. And I just personally, as almost 30, would like more time.
I mean, it's not the time part.
I mean, it's the time, but it's also the like. I would like more time, but it's the knowing, and it's also the like the fighting of it all, like the war of it all. It's like, okay, so that just means I have this limited time, and I'm gonna spend that limited time fighting demons.
No,
I could be doing other things, you know, and have more time potentially. So I just feel like,
and included in all of that,
it had nothing to do with me.
I am binding myself to spend time with people like Tor and Vaughn and Davis.
Yeah.
And then there's a dude following me around in a tree, and he might be cute, but he in a tree. And like there are like a handful of people that I can stand.
Right.
But the vast majority, and that's it. That's what I got to look forward to. No, I'm cool.
Yeah, no thanks.
Cool. Keep it.
No thanks.
This is crazy. Graveyard therapy. I'm like, therapy, dope.
The thing is,
graveyard,
it's dope.
In the graveyard.
I don't know. If it's gonna be a memory walk, I think that's dope. I would want to, if I'm gonna have to be in the graveyard, if we're gonna be, you know, doing rootcraft. Not that wasn't scary.
That last memory walk, though, she had to see like all her people die.
Yeah. So, but that wasn't therapy. That wasn't, you know what I mean? Like that wasn't the point. That wasn't the point of it. So I don't know if that counts. But I do feel like if there's a specific reason for it and I mean, I don't know. I just think it's dope. I don't necessarily mean that I want to do it. That's okay,
Yeah.
right? Like I thought it was dope to read.
It was dope to
but
read, for sure.
I don't know about
I feel like too, like having
Brits did the gif of Viola Davis grabbing her purse and leaving.
Britt said as a therapist, but also as an Enneagram 7, she is conflicted, which is valid because I am conflicted too, as not a therapist, but someone who really believes in therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And feeling like, yes, the memory walk was scary and it went a little bit left, but I don't think that like separating myself from Bree, it would be very cool to do a memory walk, right? My mama's still here. That's crazy, but like
I think it's also
I know my mama and my grandmama and my great grandmamas,
right. But and I wonder if like, I guess it also kind of depends on like why you're in therapy. But if the point is like you're trying to connect with your ancestors and that has like something to do with it in some way, like I could see that being dope. Like they didn't. I mean, I don't.
I'm gonna stick with dope. But it is a dope. You know, it's not a period.
Right.
It's a question mark.
It's a question mark.
It's one of those things that you actually don't know if it's nope or dope until afterwards. You got to do it. You know. This one, Waffle House with your dad after not returning his calls, is a nope for me, dog.
I mean, my dad doesn't return my calls, so that's not actually true. That's an exaggeration.
He just returns them in his,
but he's
in
notorious
his
for not
frame.
answering a phone in his own time. Yeah, he's notorious for not returning phone calls. He's gotten better though,
and he'll always like mention it when he sees you next. So, well, for me at least,
not quite. But it's honestly, it's more of a joke than it is a full reality. I feel like if he's gonna take me to get some food,
but it's Waffle House.
I mean, that's true. I can't eat Waffle House anyway. So nope, because I can't eat none of this. I can't eat nothing. It's a punishment because he's because I can't even eat waffles.
That's crazy.
That's hella funny. I can eat some eggs. That's it.
I don't like eggs.
Maybe.
I feel like I need to really
eggs.
interrogate my feelings on Waffle House, but it just feels like a place I don't want to be. I ain't never been.
I've been there before, back when I could eat waffles.
It actually
was cool.
Could you eat waffles then, or did you just think that you could eat waffles?
No, at that point I still could.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a couple years before I,
your body was like, that's over, that's done.
Yep, we're done with that.
I don't know how to explain this.
I would say dope in the sense of like if it's not me specifically, because again, I can't digest any of that, but the idea of just like your dad taking you out to eat and you haven't returned their calls or returned his calls, like at least in the sense
you're gonna get a talking to, but you're gonna get a meal out of it.
But there's concern there, right? Like it's not like Bree just got there and was yelled at. Like her dad wanted to like check on her and make sure she
felt
was cool,
better afterwards.
And so that was like the point of it. Yeah, and I think that was the point of it. So I would say dope as like your dad taking you out and like treating you and like trying to check in with you. Sure. Waffle House specifically, I can't do it, but that's just me, you know? But if it was Waffle House and I could do it, great.
I feel like I'm being snobby about the Waffle House thing. It's just really sticking with me, and that's like
you probably are.
I've never been, and people tell me that it's not as bad as it looks, but I've seen the videos.
I mean, it's a diner.
I love a diner, but the world star of it all, feel like I wouldn't be in the right headspace to receive what my dad was trying to give me. You know, I'd just be so worried about the health rating. Is it an A? Is it a B? Is someone coming in and all of a sudden there's a brawl? It's going to be a nope for me. But I'm going to be self-aware enough to know that
That's fine.
Comes from a place of snobbery.
Britt says she'll take the Waffle House, especially if he's buying. See? Absolutely. 100%.
Again, fair and valid.
Next one. Watching Cell tear things apart.
That's dope for me. Get the popcorn.
I would say nope.
I would hope it wasn't
I would say no. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be close enough to watch. You know?
I get that.
Like, I feel like Bree has seen him tear demons apart, and that was very disturbing. And then he's like tearing trees apart and launching them across a field. I just don't feel like I need to be there for that. So it's a nope for me.
I guess I feel like a little messy. Yeah, Brittany she's asking the right questions. How close is she? And is she tearing up something that will also attack her? So like if he's tearing up demons that are coming after me, dope.
Yeah.
He's tearing up trees that didn't do nothing and are also providing us oxygen to live. Nope. I feel like even in that scenario though, if I can be far enough away with some popcorn, cue the Michael Jackson Thriller gif of just like.
But you're not a Merlin, so you can't. Either in order to watch him do it, you have to be close.
Okay.
Next one, getting dolled up with Charlotte and Alice. I feel like dope. I feel like they did a good job.
It's not even the Charlotte and Alice. I don't want to get dolled up.
Getting dolled up. No, I feel that. I get that. I like doing that occasionally. Yeah. So I'm not against that.
The last time I got dolled up, my stylist was 11 years old. It's very stressful.
You look
look cute. She did a great job. She did a very good job, except for when she tried to make me buy a prom dress. But other than that,
I mean,
it was cute.
It just was a prom dress and extremely expensive.
It was an extremely expensive, very
nobody
cute
was
prom
wearing
dress,
that to Renaissance.
Nobody
was wearing that to Renaissance.
No, absolutely not.
She lost the thread at that for
and
a
the
second,
shoes were actually not comfortable, and I probably should have like gone for the style of shoe, but like spent, you know what I mean? Like actually went and got some
more
shoes.
Comfy. Yeah.
Won't be wearing those again.
Charlotte's cool, Britt. She's like,
she's harmless.
Her
boyfriend was a demon, and she didn't know. I mean, no one really
that's
knew.
Not on her.
But she was like spending quality time with that man and didn't know.
Hit that for her.
Yeah.
Final one. Finding out you're the scion of Arthur. Absolutely not.
Keep it.
Yeah, no thanks. No thanks. I feel like whether I'm a medium or not. Like, especially not if I'm a medium.
Especially not that.
Because then he's all up in your mind. And I'm not trying to be like that.
Sorry.
And no, Arthur, you cannot get all up in my mind. Thanks. But even still, like, no, I don't want to be the scion of Arthur. That's too much responsibility. That's too much.
I'm not trying to lift
BS.
swords out of stones, period. But then if I lift the sword out of the stone and it sings of war.
Look, we said we wanted Nick to be our peer mentor, that's it. I'm sticking to that. So he can be the scion of Arthur still.
I'm not trying to fight.
That ain't gonna do me.
I'm not trying to. I didn't sign up for all that.
No.
And then just like the idea of, and I know that like this is like colored by us reading it through Bree, who is a medium and gets like overtaken by Arthur, but just any sharing of like a 8th century white man from Wales. I don't need him that close to 6th century.
No thanks.
That's even worse.
Yeah.
Every time I bathe, he's like, why? When I wash my legs, he's like, the soap just... the soap just... You don't have to wash your legs. I'm like, shut up, Arthur. You nasty.
I just don't want to do it.
No.
No thanks. Nope. Very sorry to Bree. Sorry that happened.
Very true.
So that's it.
Those were.
But like I said, answer. You can drop your. I'll probably put them in our stories.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do one on Wednesday and one on Thursday or something. I don't know, but like, make sure you're following us on Instagram. I'll try to put it on Tumblr too. And then give us your answers.
I don't know how none of that works, but Bayana's got it.
Okay, speaking of questions, y'all had questions for us. And so we're gonna answer
questions them too. I like them.
Yeah. Okay. So Lena asked, what was your favorite scene this season?
So this is funny because I have 2, which is my favorite scene of Legendborn and just reading Legendborn. And I talked about this a lot, which is like the first memory walk when I was like, oh, this book is more than I thought it was going to be. And the way that it unfolds in the story too is just like, it really does just like open the story up, like blows it off the hinges. Because you're already in the fantasy of it all. You've met the demons, you've met some of the players in the order. And so you think you're going down this route. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's a lot more here. And there's a lot more to learn and a lot more to explore. And this world is actually much more vast. So in terms of like me as a reader and singularly, that's my favorite scene. In terms of Wizard Team and like actually like engaging with and like doing it with everyone else, the scene at the gala when Nick and Bree just are like, racism, who cares? Let's just make out some.
Let's kiss.
To this day, and I want to like reread it again. As we were recording that episode, I was like, I didn't read. Did we read the thing? None of this stood out to me. But as we're talking about it, this is wild. This is insane.
Yeah.
This is a crazy reaction to what just happened.
And I think I had a similar thought, but I also think because I wasn't on that episode, like I had seen some of y'all's comments in our chat before I finally got to the chapters. So I kind of like, I was like, okay, there's something there that I was like, I don't really remember, but like, when I read it, I'll see if I can find it or whatever. And then once I actually read it, I was like, oh no, that was kind of wild. And then I listened to the episode and I was like, no, yeah, that was kind of wild. And like, also I was kind of like, all right, y'all, ease up on Brie because that's my girl. But also, no, you're right. And I also think that like, that's one of the things I like about the like format of this podcast is like, there are just things that when you're reading it as like a full book and you're just, especially when you're reading it for the first time, you're trying to get through, you're trying to like figure out what's happening on like a broader level. And even when you're doing rereads, you may not catch certain things or you may not like put meaning on certain things just because like, what's coming, you know what I mean? And so like kind of the overall like end goal. So you're not really like interrogating the smaller details. And so I love doing that for certain books just because you get like in there and when you're really just focused on like a certain amount of chapters or pages or whatever, you're just like, oh no, like what's going on here? Either it's something that like makes you love it more, or something that like makes you go, that was like, what was that? And I'm finding like, because right now I'm rereading Bloodmarked, and I've been finding that like, obviously I'm not reading it on the same, like I'm like maybe 2/3 done, so I'm definitely not reading it on the same like pace as we do for Wizard Team, but I do find my like brain like marking every 3 chapters. And like not completely like not being like, oh, this is my MVP and bench. It's more just like, okay, like this is
segment
this
to
is
like
the
to,
you know what I mean? It's just kind of segment to just kind of like
sit
and like
with it, inhale.
Honestly kind of helping in some ways. Yeah. So it's interesting. Even if I read more than 3 in one sitting, it's still my brain is just kind of being like, okay, like peeped. I would say my favorite scene from Legendborn is it's the end, like the final scenes, like with the reveal about Vera, and then immediately coming after that out of that into like fighting the demons with like Arthur, like that whole just like section of chapters, it has always been my favorite. And I think that like reading it for Wizard Team only like emphasize that. I think like I feel like it hits even harder, like it just like you know what I mean, like you really start to tease out like all that's really going on and like all of what Bree has to process in that moment, and just kind of like reckon with, and all of that. And so it's so much, but I feel like it was done so well that it doesn't feel like overwhelming to read, even though it is like actually a lot to like, if it was happening to me,
like,
I might just like
got a blast.
Just go lay down. I'm done.
I do want to say like 2 quotes that really stuck with me in the recording of this entire book. Both came from you, and were both very simple, very straightforward. But I was like, oh, like I needed someone to put it in those words to me with no like fluffiness, just straightforward. Is when you said, one, it's a cult. I was like, this whole organization, this order,
I don't think
society.
Yeah, I don't think that I articulated it or thought of it that way until we
you said
for
it's a cult, and my brain said,
yeah.
That's
like I don't
why
think
these
like
children
reading
are
it
so lost
on my own
in the sauce. Like,
yeah. It didn't fully get me before we started reading it closer. And then I was just like, you know what? That's what this is. Like, that's why everybody is. I think really what it was is once when William was showing Bree the Wall of Ages, that's when it kind of clicked for me. Because it's like, he's great, right? But he also deeply believes in the order in a way that you can only believe in if you have been indoctrinated into it and like grown up with it.
He has internalized this. And that was the thing too, is because I was like, no, like Sel, Nick, they all are like aware of and understanding of the faults of the order, but why are they still, or even when like Bree is like, are you sure that Cambions lose their mind? And Sel is like, what what do you mean?
Right. What do you mean by that?
So it's a cult, really, like I was like mind blown. And then the other very straightforward, very like plain spoken thing that sticks with me, Bree got a lot going on. And I know that. I'm reading the book. I'm paying attention. But in every essence, in every step of the way, Bree got a lot going on.
She doesn't have any leeway. She doesn't have any
3 different curses / spells or whatever in her blood.
Yeah. She
dealing with grief on like multiple levels. Starting college, finding out about the order, finding out about your mother.
Right, she's living on her own for the first time.
Bree got a
it's
lot
a lot.
on.
Yeah. I will say my favorite Wizard Team scene is when we were talking about Laura Davis getting back crack, because that shit was hilarious. That's like one of my favorite things about Wizard Team is like, we read the chapters on our own. And so we don't know how the conversation is going to go. Like, we know coming in like what we want to talk about and what we want to like touch on, but we don't know how that's going to like come together in the like moment of talking, and so sometimes shit just goes off the
And then
rails.
sometimes
Like,
out of
and
your
sometimes we
mouth.
see it coming. Like that one was like, yeah, but that one was like we saw it coming and we were trying not to do it, and then Porshèa just took it over the edge and it was done, and it was like I loved it. It was hilarious.
Sometimes you got to get your back cracked by a demon, and Porshèa said, and not in the
By a
good
demon,
way.
just not in that way. Not in the good way. Yeah. So those are favorites. They were
Hilarious.
So Kishana said, "Who is your favorite person and why is it me?"
Well, because you
I think it's because
yell
you
at us
yell
about
at us
science.
when we get the science wrong.
And because, like,
That's why.
here's the thing with me. You STEM girlies, I love you. People, you STEMmies, you STEMs. Appreciate the hell out of you. Not only when these things come up do I know I'm going to get it wrong, but I also, like, fundamentally know I'm going to get yelled at too. I'm like, I don't understand this. And I can't really move forward without asking the question. Like, that I've gone a long time, like I went a long time in school being too scared to be like, I actually don't know what's going on. I don't want to raise my hand and be like, actually, you know, your teacher's like, did everyone get it? Is that clear to everyone? And I just be like, yep.
Right,
In my brain, like, I don't, you might as well be speaking German. I don't know what none of that was. I don't understand. I can't even get to the point where I can ask the question to make me possibly understand it because I'm lost. This happens, and it usually does happen around, like, the intersection of the magic and the science. Like, how does this thing actually work? And I know. Especially this one when it was, like, in your genes, in your DNA. I was like, Kishana gonna... I know I'm hurting her as I'm speaking. I know it,
but it's
but
fine.
also... I don't know what that... I don't know what none of that means.
Yeah. You know what's hilarious is we did that episode and we were like talking about the Punnett squares, and then like 3 weeks later Ami was working on Punnett squares and I was like, ooh, I know this. I was like, look at me, I can help you with your science homework. Don't ask me about nothing else, but I got you on a Punnett square. Okay,
Nonsense.
next. Amani asks, when are we going to get to read some of y'all's books on Wizard Team? Good question.
I mean,
truly, I have
as of recording, only one of the 3 co-hosts has, like, completed a Wizard Team length / eligible book. Completed. I ain't even trying. The last thing I worked on was a rom-com about the WNBA, and I didn't get very far. And I want to go back to it, actually, but I'm not even trying. So, mind your business. Is that the right answer? When are we going to read your book?
I mean, Mike, yeah, when are we gonna... That's a good turn it on its head. Yeah, my answer is I have no idea. So your guess is as good as mine.
But
I think it would be funny to do that. I don't think if I'm not if when trying to be
manifest it.
When that happens, when I have a book out, we wouldn't read it the way that we read like these other books. Just I feel like that would be weird.
Actually,
unless I'm just not on the season and you and Porshèa do it, I'm fine with that. But I just feel
think we should do it. I could see doing like a bonus episode. And you know what it would be? Do y'all remember that hilarious scene of Bayana being very excited about Lord of the Rings and me and Porshèa just breaking her heart at every turn? I feel like it would be that for a whole season.
I don't think I would be excited to talk about it that way, though. Like, yeah, I just don't. I could see doing like a bonus episode. I would not say no to that. I think that would be fun. But I think like breaking it down in that way, I already
over and over and over again.
I can't. I wouldn't be able to do that. I would just be like, bro, you would have to tell me if it's good or not because I could not say. So if it were to happen, I would not be there. If we were to do it in that way, I would not be there. But also, it feels kind of biased for y'all to do, like, you know what I mean?
No.
more than just like a buy my no.
Because I think here's the thing: is I think about like with the books that we choose. I was about to say unequivocally we love, but that boy Wizard, that shit towards the end there. But and the new iteration of Wizard Team, I don't think we're choosing books that we don't love, and I also don't think that the conversations.
That's true.
It's about the content. Yeah, I don't think you can really be biased except for like when someone like Bayana has a clear bias and blinders on about a character and what they're doing. And the most that she can give you is, you might be right, but easy on my girl. I think that's the only place in the way that we do Wizard Team, the way that Wizard Team is set up, that would have like a bias, which is just like, I love this character so much that like you can't tell me shit. And even that we can break down because there's two other people who are like, actually, let me tell you about your girl.
Yeah. But yeah, I probably wouldn't do if we did do it in the format that we like in a main season. I probably wouldn't do that.
That would be torturous too.
I'd probably also be it would just be a lot, and I'd probably also be writing like again, hopefully sequels and stuff. So I don't think it would be useful.
Can't tell you nothing.
But I wouldn't be against. Yeah, I would. Well, not can't tell me nothing, but just like. There's like
no. I mean, you can tell me. You know what I mean? We've already done this where I've read some of your books.
Yeah,
and I have questions.
Like also, spoilers can't be a thing. It wouldn't be able to be spoiler heavy unless the whole thing is out. Like there would just be a lot of different things at play. It would be tricky, I think.
She wouldn't even spoil me when I was like beta reading, which is why I gave up that job. That's no longer my ministry, because I would be like, and then there would be another draft, and like things would change with my people.
Yeah, there are a lot
and I would
of
be
drafts.
like, you didn't consult me on this, and she's like, that's not really what your role is.
No.
So.
Yeah. So
mind your business.
I don't know if that answers the question. This one, we got a lot of these questions. We got like a few folks who asked, which is, what is the next book and when are you starting? So the next book, we're going to be reading Amari and the Great Game. And we're starting in January. So I'm excited. We're going back. I've only read Amari and the Great Game once. So I think we're gonna do spoiler heavy, but I don't know how spoiler heavy it's gonna be just because I've only read it once. So there are gonna be things. I mean, just kind of like with the first when we did Amari and the Night Brothers, where it was like, I remember this. I remember it in a different order.
Yeah.
Or like, you know what I mean? So
I also think too, like one of the pluses and minuses about doing Amari and even Legendborn, because we will do Bloodmarked eventually.
Yes, which was the next question. We are going to do Bloodmarked.
My bad. But
no, that's fine. It's the full.
I think it's a plus and a minus, which is that like even spoiler heavy, like we don't the series are not over yet, so we don't really know. Like when we were doing Harry Potter, by the time we started that, the books had been done, and so you had like your headcanons kind of like sealed, your like what ifs, your like extra content until she started fucking up the world and whatever. But like it was a completed series, and so in that way it was like easier with the spoilers to kind of remember and know. And we'd read those books, but I know those books in my bones,
1,000 times.
With these books, it's the spoilers are still a little bit like because I've only read these books like once or maybe twice. So again, it's like I remember something happening, but I don't know which order or when, and it's all kind of fuzzy. But then we do have the bonus of having all of these like what ifs and like wants and wishes, and like there's that unknown, which makes it fun to like speculate and talk about.
Yeah. And I will say too, like I know when we first started Legendborn, folks who were like excited about us reading Amari were kind of sad that we weren't going straight into the Great Game. And then like I'm also have already been seeing people being like, "Oh, you guys are gonna do Bloodmarked, right?" Like you know, excited for us to get into Bloodmarked. And so we'll probably be a little sad that we're not going straight into it. But I will also say again, part of the other thing is again, like Robyn said, these series are not done. Like the third Amari doesn't come out until like late next year, like maybe like in late summer next year, and Oathbound doesn't come out until 2025. So it's like if we do 2025, it's early, but 2025 is when Oathbound comes out. So it's like also like we're trying to be strategic about how we do it so that we're not just like we want to cover more books than like we can if we just stick to one at a time, I think. Which is also why we have these bonus episodes where we're trying to cover like other, you know, one-offs and
standalones.
We're gonna play around with some stuff next year too in terms of like mini seasons and like how other ways that we can cover more books. But in terms of this, we've kind of found that like alternating helps because it gives us more time. Like by the time we get to Bloodmarked, hopefully if you know, based on what the schedule is now, like the third Amari will come out while we're talking about Bloodmarked. So then by the time we finish Bloodmarked, we can go into the third Amari. And when we're in the third Amari, Oathbound will come out. And so when we're done with the third Amari, Oathbound is, you know what I mean? So like trying to just like schedule it in a way where we can get through them. And then, you know, eventually start new books with the like longer season format, but that's kind of the thought process behind it.
I also think that it's important
a little peek behind the curtain
to have a little bit of distance between the book coming out and then doing the
because we need to be able to read it.
But you need to be able to sit with it as like I want to. I was happy that I got to read Amari and the Great Game for pleasure, and then let that sit, and then go back to it. I don't think that you should ever really read a book in the way that we read books for Wizard Team as like the first and only time you read a book. I just did that with Within These Wicked Walls because there was no way besides Wizard Team I would pick up a book called Within These Wicked Walls.
Yeah,
and it is a difficult, like we talked about it on that bonus up too. It's a different muscle. It's a different way of reading when you're doing a close read and when you know that there are like things that you're going to want to discuss or plot points you want to hit. Versus just like reading for the enjoyment and for the full holistic story. So I also think that that's important too. It's like, I would hate to like have Oathbound come out and then we're immediately covering it like the next week or month.
And we haven't had time to like enjoy it as readers, as fans, like doing, you know, that part of it. Yeah. Because that's like also part of the reason we're doing it is because we love books so much. We want to highlight these like Black fantasy books. Again, we want to read as many as we can and like cover as many as we can in the ways that make sense. And we want to talk to y'all about them. So like that's the other thing. Like we are excited about it. And also, you know, I will say like even when we're not doing like while we're talking about Amari and the Great Game, if some like Legendborn shit pops off, tag us. If you see some fan art, like if you see a theory that you feel like we would love to see, like it's just because we're not like on it on that current season doesn't mean that we're not like looking for stuff, still sharing, like especially on socials, and vice versa. Like you see some Amari stuff, tag us, right? Like let us know because we're on there, but if we miss it or even if we don't, you know what I mean? Like we want to still interact in those like fandoms and like, you know what I mean? So,
and I also want to say like I think that this podcast is at its best when it is interactive. Like you're not obviously on the mic with us, you're not on the podcast, but it's nice to like look at the chat and see what Brittany would think or like be able to pull in her opinions. It's nice to like be able to go back and be like, well, Dr. Kashana gave us the PhD breakdown of what this science actually is, right? And there are like a lot of times in which when the listeners and stuff engage in things that I exposed to a different viewpoint or also just like something that we talked about like that scene with Bree and Nick, like Delia was like, this was wild. And I had to be like, yo, this is crazy. And so I think it also just makes like the reading more enjoyable too. And makes the what do we call it? Exploration. What are we doing? Criticism. I don't think of it as criticism, but like close deconstructing or whatever.
Close reading.
It makes that better. It makes us better at doing that when we have other viewpoints and things in it.
Like perspectives.
That's the word.
Yeah.
English.
So yeah. All right. Let's get in real quick. We're at the end now. The real MVP of the book. So number 3. So number 3 is William.
The recount.
Which makes
sense.
That's it? Number 2, I was you don't think William makes sense as a number 3?
He should be number 2.
He got MVP'd a lot. Well, okay, yeah, I was gonna say I was very surprised by number 2. I didn't expect this at all. Somehow, Selwyn
I blame myself.
Number 2. Probably, yeah. But you know what it is, actually? It's really like towards the end. Because again, that chapter that you were talking about, or the season that you're episode, that's the word. The episode y'all were talking about with Bree and Nick chilling, like, or tripping. Sel was the only person there with like any semblance of like clarity, right? And then he came swooping down like an owl.
Saving the day.
Right? So he just had like in the end, he had some moments where like it made like I got it, but I was not expecting it.
Because he started off that
at all.
And this is the issue too about, like I said, people having their faves and stuff. It's like his little emo soft boy heart always I was always about it. And I excused a lot of behaviors.
But I also think like
sure,
but I also think there's also something to be said about like you can be tripping and it just depends on the moments when you're tripping and like if there's someone else who is doing worse, if there is someone else who's doing better, right? Like you can be like very high MVP and very high bench, which Selwyn was. He didn't. Well, we'll get to bench later, but like that can happen, and so it was just interesting once I was adding it up. I was like, that I was not expecting that. And number 1 is Bree.
That is
by a lot. But I feel like she deserves it. I feel like if she hadn't been number 1, I would have been like, how? At least for this one.
I feel like the more I read
at least for
it, I'm like,
I feel like she deserved it.
And again, this is what you're talking about too, about like the right times and the right who else is doing certain things. Because I don't think that there are a lot of, I mean, also main character energy. She's in every scene, so every chapter, so she has more opportunities. But in the same way that Sel was tripping early in the book, Bree's entire presence in this whole organization.
I mean, yes, and
at a certain point, you got to get over it. She did it. She knocked on the door. She said, "Tell Nick I'm here."
Right. That's the thing. It's like, then you're like, by the time once she decides she's there, she's there. So then it's just like, how are you moving through there? And I think
she did well. But if it was up to me, I would bench. I probably could bench her for that one decision throughout. You shouldn't even be here. Bree is bitch because she shouldn't even be here.
But then it goes into victim blaming. That's so funny. So yeah, so that's what we got this time. And then benched. So 3 is Arthur, which like hilarious because he wasn't in for that long. But we spent a lot of time benching him in his line. Like, or like, you know what I mean? Being like, Arthur, that shit, like, because it goes all the way back to the 6th century. Like, you got to sit down.
And like he came up with this whole plan and these this spell, him and Merlin. But Merlin was answering to his king, so at the end of the day.
Well, Merlin got some benches for sure, but Merlin doesn't show up. So there's that too. So 2 is tied between the Regents and Tor.
Tor, look at your life, look at your choices.
Which is fair.
You know?
Yeah. Like,
because the Regents,
ma'am.
Again, kind of like big bad, like
Like, it's kinda like,
It
nah, I quibble with it a little bit, at least in Legendborn. Like, there are a lot of moments where you binge the Order or we binge the Regents, and that feels like
cop out.
a little it's not
Mhm.
specific, I guess. Not necessarily a cop out because I think that, like, it's not wrong. And in some of those chapters, it made sense based on, like, what happened. Um, but it's just in terms of this, like, oh, yeah, this entire organization is, like, benched, it just kinda feels,
Well, I
you
think
know,
for me, the
everybody gotta
Regents
sit down.
is a better benching than, like, the Order, because to me, it's like the
The
Regents
Order, right?
are
Because
it
it's
like,
only,
you
like, a
know,
few
like
of
I said,
them.
like with Arthur, like, starts at the top, like, he is, like, the decision
Mhm.
maker, and I feel like with the Regents, it's kinda the same thing, and there's not the way at least it reads, especially when you're hearing things like Nick being like, "My dad was upset at the Regents too." It's like there isn't, like, one head Regent whose will or, like, decision overpowers the rest of them. So it does make a
Mhm.
little bit of sense there too. It's like when they come to a decision, then it's like forced down on the rest of the Order and affects everyone. Um, and they made some fucking terrible decisions. So
Yeah, that's real. And coming in at number 1 is
oof,
Lord Davis.
shocking.
Sit down, stay down, you know? But I will say Cell was number 4. He was a very close number 4, so which is what I mean by, like, high on both sides. Like, if these other 3,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I thought he would at least be number 3, but Arthur came in strong in the end, so, um, yeah. Um, so that's it. As a reminder, I mean, we're gonna start Amari in January. Like, make sure you get your votes in. Um, it's broken down like in the thing, and it's easier to do. I'm like, in after you're done watching or listening to an episode to do it. The link is always in our show notes. Um, that way you can do it while it's fresh in your mind. I know trying to catch up later is like a lot harder to think about.
Especially if you're Brit and you can't
But we want to
remember who
know
is
your
who.
reasonings. We had exactly. We had some good reasonings. Like there was one early, like in the first episode, where someone been or made no one their MVP and said, "Sadly, they're all taking L's right now." Someone else made William their MVP later and said, "For healing everybody all the time, and no one ever listens to him or his sticky notes."
Poor
Lena
William
made
had
Nick her
posted.
MVP one episode because of that game, which it's real. Oh, I forgot that I had put in my MVPs and benched on the episode I wasn't
On.
on. I said so for carrying the team on his back. Um and the benches too, like there's one where Lena benched first of all, hella people. And then one of the people was Tracy, and she said, "How very dare you make me love Cell against my will." Um
I do want to point out in the baddie chat at one point, Lena was also going off about loving Cell. She said, "We went through all of this and now I'm smitten. I'm smoten. We are smutten."
So yeah, just we want to know your thoughts. We want to know why. I feel like even if you don't want to like be all out here on social media, that's fine. But like drop your thoughts in the forum. Like I want to know what you're thinking and why you think people are tripping or not and whatever. Like I think it's hilarious going through the whys. You don't have to put why, but the reasonings are like interesting to uh see. Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. We're going on hiatus for the holidays, but we will be back on January 10th to begin our discussion of Amari and the Great Game. I want you guys to know that January 10th is the day before Baby Dog's birthday.
Oh, shout out to Luna.
It's a national holiday. I expect everyone to celebrate. That crazy dog,
Word.
still alive, still kicking after all of her attempts to end it.
Wizard Team is part of the Black Nerds Create Collective. If you want to keep up with our content, you can check out our website at blacknerdscreate.com. Follow us on Instagram and Tumblr at Wizard Team Pod and at Black Nerds Create.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
you.